Hello everyone and welcome to the third lesson installment of Learning Japanese. My name's Arno and today we're going to cover the katakana writing system. Now you may remember that in the last episode I talked about the hiragana writing system and I fully covered it actually in the second video, so be sure to check that out. Be sure to click the annotation if you haven't seen it just yet. Now I don't expect you to already fully know the hiragana system by heart. I mean, it's impossible. I'm still human. I actually have some important things to say about that, so be sure to stick around till the end of the video because I still have a thing or two to say about how to learn it and about how I'm going to try to guide you through it. It's basically going to consist of a lot of exercises and I'm going to try to coach you through this gradually as we go along, because I know that the very first kana list is a lot and yeah, I don't want you guys to get demotivated or anything like that, so be sure to watch that part of the video if you really want to learn Japanese. Now let's get started with the katakana system. Again, I'm going to go over the pronunciation of the system. Now it's exactly the same as the hiragana one, but I'm still going to go over it nonetheless. So now let's quickly go over the pronunciation of the katakana sounds. Now the sounds go as follows. You have a, I, u, e, o, kakiku ke ko, gagigu ge go, sashisu se so, zajizu ze zo, tachitsu te to, dajizu de do, naninu ne no, hahifu he ho, babibu be bo, papipu pe po, ma mi mu me mo, rariru re ro, ya, yu, yo, wa, o, and n. Okay, so you may be able to tell that the sounds from the hiragana system are exactly the same as the sounds of the katakana system. So this means that the exceptions from the hiragana system also reoccur in the katakana system. So this means concretely that instead of si, you say shi. Instead of zi, you say ji. Instead of ti, you say chi. Instead of di, you say ji. And instead of tu, you say tsu. And instead of du, you say zu. Okay, so these are the big exceptions, I suppose. It's really not that difficult to pronounce, I suppose, so it's easy to get used to. There's also one more exception thingy I'd like to point out. Again, the o is preserved, so it's not wo, it's o, all the way at the bottom. So it's wa and o instead of wa and wo. Okay, now so much for that. Now actually a little bit of side information. The o in katakana actually never really occurs. It's very, very rarely used, and it's mainly used in like medieval texts and stuff, simply because the particle o doesn't exist in katakana. But it's still there if you want to learn it, and I suppose that you should learn it then. And now let's go over how to write the katakana symbols one by one. Now this time it's going to be written by my lovely assistant Ellen. Now it's true that a girl's handwriting is usually better than a boy's handwriting, so perhaps it would be best if it were written by someone with a nice handwriting like her. Okay, now sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Okay, so now to end the main part of this video, I'm going to go over some vocabulary. So again, just like the last video, I've got some nouns and some verbs ready for you. Basically, I'm trying to get as many words through as I can before we get started with the good stuff. And with the good stuff, I mean making sentences and stuff, and finally doing something with Japanese instead of just having to learn all these symbols. I know that a lot of you people probably don't really want to learn the Hiragana and Katakana. Now, I'm going to advise you to not have that mindset, but if you really don't want to know how to write Japanese and just want to speak it and understand it, then the next couple of videos are going to be more for you, because I'm nearly reaching the point where I'll be able to use all this vocabulary and start explaining like sentence structure and stuff. So the first word would be school. Now in Japanese that would be gakko, gakko, gakko. Now, you may be able to notice that the K is actually doubled and the O at the end is actually lengthened. Now, we haven't seen how to do that just yet because I'm still at the beginning of the kana symbols. There's one more video that's going to come after this, and in that video I'm going to explain to you how to double consonants and how to lengthen the vowels as well. So don't stress out too much about that. It's actually really easy, so you'll be fine. Now, the next word is house or home. Now, if you're referring to your own house, then you would say uchi, uchi, uchi. If you're referring to someone else's house, then you would say ie, ie, ie. Now this is not to be mistaken with the Japanese word for no. That's the following word. That would be ie, ie, which is actually a long I sound. And then conversely, the word for yes in Japanese would be hai, hai. So you have hai and ie. And you have uchi for your own house and ie for someone else's house. Hopefully it's not too complicated. I sure hope it's not. Okay, now the next one is actually a prime example of a katakana word, so that's the word for class. It's kurasu. Kurasu. Now you can tell that the word class actually stems from this word, so the Japanese just took the English word and they gave it a Japanese pronunciation. I've already explained that, by the way. A teacher would be sensei. 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 Whereas a student would be gakusei, gakusei, gakusei. Now, you may be able to notice that both sensei and gakusei end with the same sound, so it ends with se. Now, this actually comes from the fact that they have the same kanji sign at the end. I'm just telling you guys, like, we haven't seen any kanji yet, but I mean, this is why the pronunciation at the end is the same. So this may make it kind of easy to learn. A lot of words will actually be like that. A lot of words that have something to do with school and stuff as well. Now, the next one is pen. A pen in Japanese would be pen. Pen. But this is also written in katakana, and it's a really easy word to remember, I suppose. The next one would be America. That would be America. 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 Whereas an American, so like an American citizen, would be America-jin. So you just take the country and then you add jin at the end. The same goes for Japan, which would be Nihon. 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 And if you want to turn it into a Japanese person, you have Nihon plus jin. So Nihonjin. Nihonjin. France would be Furansu. Furansu. Now try not to say Fransu or something because you may be used to saying France, but in Japanese it's actually a couple of katakana in a row. So you have Furansu. So Furansu. And a Frenchman would be Furansujin. A friend would be Tomodachi. 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 Now, try not to say tomodachi, like pronounce the chi too much. It actually happens a lot. At the end of a Japanese word, the last sign is usually silent, kind of. So you have tomodachi. The same goes for the word university, which is daigaku. That's kind of pronounced silently at the end as well. High school would be koukou. Koukou. The pronoun this, when it can be used independently like a pronoun, like for example in the sentence, this is a cat. In this sentence, you would say kore, kore, kore. So kore means this. Now some verbs. You have to do, suru, suru. To say, iu, iu. To understand, wakaru, wakaru. To sleep, neru, neru. Conversely, you have to wake up, okiru, okiru, okiru. And to read, yomu, yomu, Okay, so much for the vocabulary part of this video. Hopefully it's going alright. I know that it's probably a lot to study, so ganbatte kudasai, which means good luck or try your best or something like that. Yeah, that's a good pronunciation. Ganbatte kudasai. It's actually a verb, but we're gonna see verb conjugations in later videos. I'm not going to shove that down your face just yet. It's gonna be for when we get to the fun part of the language, because trust me, the Japanese grammar is a lot of fun because it's quite easy. Trust me on that. We'll see. Okay, now onwards to the next part of the video, the closing part of this video. And now let's go over to the first 10 hiragana symbols. Now you're supposed to study these at home. So every single time I make a video, you'll have to study a couple more hiragana symbols. So it's really doable. It's quite a slow pace if I may be honest, so you're free to study more if you want to at home. Now let's get started. And now comes the promised part of the video where I'm going to give some tips and also tell you what I'm going to do in order to help you to learn the hiragana alphabet. Because it sure as hell isn't easy, and I know that because I had to study this myself. It's really doable. Actually, it only took about like a month or a month and a half, and by then you should probably know both the hiragana and katakana if you really try your best. However, I don't expect you to learn it that fast. You can really take your time with this. My videos aren't going anywhere, so you can rewatch them if you want to. Now, what am I going to do to help you? I think that I should probably go over 10 hiragana symbols in every single video from now onwards until we will have seen them all. So it would probably be a doable pace if you were to study 10 hiragana symbols for every single video I make. So for example, in this video, in a couple of seconds, I'm going to go over the first 10 hiragana symbols. Then in the next video, I'm going to go over the next 10 hiragana symbols. And I'll also provide some exercises so that you can practice the hiragana symbols from the last video. Then the video after that, I'll go over the next 10 hiragana symbols, and I'll give you exercises for the hiragana that we will have already seen by then in the first two videos, etc, etc. So after a while I will have covered all the hiragana symbols, and if you keep up, then you will have completely learned and mastered the hiragana alphabet. And the same goes for the katakana alphabet, but I don't think I'm going to do it for the katakana as well, because yeah, it takes a lot of time, and I don't think you guys will need it if you already know the hiragana symbol system. Now you'll actually notice that in the beginning it's going to go very slowly, and your brain will not really be adapted to learning hiragana or katakana or any kind of symbol at all. So it'll go really slowly, you'll make a lot of mistakes. Now if that's true, then I'm going to recommend you to go back to this video and watch the stroke order of the hiragana alphabet very closely, because it's the correct way of writing it and it's going to help you in the long run as well. Because the more complicated symbols like the kanji, they're also written in a sort of similar way as the hiragana are written, but they're just a little more complicated because there are more stripes and strokes you have to add to the kanjis. Anyway, so much for that. I'm not going to talk about the kanji just yet. Anyway, yeah, so I'm saying that in the beginning it's going to go very slowly, and it'll probably be easy to get demotivated, but I'd say don't give up, because once you've mastered this, you can really get started with learning Japanese, and yeah, you will notice that it's a lot of fun to be able to write and read these symbols, and after a while your brain also gets accustomed to to studying hiragana and katakana and stuff, and it'll actually go more easily as you go along. So that's basically it. I guess I'll see you guys in the next episode, or the next video lesson.